Let's talk about rabbit. I know it's not easy to eat rabbit, but it's a very important part of Italian cuisine and has been for a long time. Welcome to Actually Italian. I'm Sal, and I've been living in Italy for years now. I want to teach you how to make recipes the way an actual Italian would make them for themselves. Italian cooking is all about regional cuisine. Rabbit dishes are popular all throughout Italy, but this particular preparation comes from the region called Liguria. It's really easy to prepare, so let's get started and go through what you need to know to get it going. I have my butcher cut this up into pieces so they're nice and manageable. The first thing I want to do is, I don't know if you can see that kind of silver skin there. This, when it starts to cook, is going to contract and it's going to curl up. So I just want to cut through it with the knife here just to prevent that from happening. Just want to season it on both sides with some salt and pepper. Now, I'm going right in with the dish without marinating or soaking it. So in some recipes you'll see it has to be marinated in wine and herbs and stuff overnight. This is farm-raised rabbit, so we don't really need to do that. If this were wild rabbit, then we definitely would need to marinate this. But this meat, when I say it tastes like chicken, I'm not even saying it to be funny. It really does actually taste like chicken. It's basically like the drumstick meat. That's the texture of it. It has a reputation for being stringy, but it's all in how you cook it, and also, again, like where it's coming from. That stringy rabbit that somebody might have had was probably old. That meat is going to be tough. It has to be cooked for a long time, and it gets stringy. This rabbit, on the other hand, again, farm-raised, it's not going to be stringy at all. All right, we've got this dredged in flour. We're going to go right to the pan now and get started cooking. Got a pan with some olive oil over medium-high heat, and then I'm just going to get the rabbit in now to start basically browning. We're not going to try to cook this really too much. We just want to get some nice color on it to form the basis of the sauce. Flour on it too is what's going to help thicken it up and make it a nice stew consistency. This is going to take about like 3 to 5 minutes per side. It's been 4 minutes about, so let's, oh, that's perfect, yeah, so that's what we want right there, that nice golden brown. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, and then we're going to remove the rabbit from the pan. This is ready to come out now. I'm going to remove all this meat from the pan now. It's definitely brown enough, and then we're going to go in with the rest of the ingredients. By the way, I've got a link to the printable recipe in the description box below. We've got some celery and onion here. We're going to sweat this out. I'm going to add a little bit of salt just to get the liquid out, and that's what's going to help it deglaze this pan here. So you can see all the brown bits on the bottom from the meat. So we want to get all that off of the bottom and into the sauce. That's going to create a nice foundation of flavor for the stew. Celery and onion are definitely ready to go now. In fact, a little bit too much, but it's still fine. We're adding some pine nuts there. We just want to give them a quick toast. Not too much of a toast on the pine nuts though, because they can be pretty strong. The oils kind of get activated and it releases some of the flavor. While those are toasting, I'm going to add a little bit of tomato paste here, concentrate. This is going to add a real rich, deep flavor to the broth. You don't have to do this step that I'm doing here where I kind of caramelize it, but I like to do this because it does add a little bit more flavor. The only thing is you can't go too long with it. As soon as you start to smell like this kind of coppery aroma, like I do right now, it's done. You don't want to go past that. So I'm going to add some wine. White wine, red wine doesn't really matter too much. I like to use white wine because the rabbit has a delicate flavor. I don't want to overpower it. I just want to get the wine reduced, get the alcohol burnt off basically. The alcohol pretty much is evaporated now, so I'm going to add some sage, dried sage, and some fresh rosemary that I've diced up. Now it's time to get the chicken stock in. You can use vegetable stock too if you like, whatever kind you have. We'll add the rabbit back to the pot. I might need to add some water here. So essentially we want to bring the water level up. We don't want to cover it completely. but we want to get it over halfway up the rabbit. I'm going to add some of the olives here. This is an integral part of the dish because olives are popular in Liguria. Just about everything has some olives in them. And that's it. Now we just cover it up and we wait. It's been a half an hour. I just wanted to check it and see how it was doing. So we can see there's still quite a bit of liquid here, and it's evaporated a bit, at least a third. We want it to really thicken up even more. So I think I'm going to leave the cover off for the next half an hour. It takes about an hour to cook it till it's fallen apart, fallen off the bone. And I want this to be more like a sauce than like a soup. I'm going to let it go for about 15 minutes without the cover, and then we're going to check back on it again, see how it looks. It's been 15 minutes now. I can see this is thickening up nicely there. See, it's nice and silky, and at this point I know that if I leave it uncovered for another 15-20 minutes for it to finish cooking, that it's going to get too thick. So I can cover this back up now and let it finish. So we'll check back again in another 15 or 20 minutes. I let it cook for another 20 minutes after, and you can see how it's really tender here now. So this is done as far as the texture of the rabbit that we want. Now take a look at the sauce. Just how thick and creamy that is. I mean, that just looks amazing. This is perfect. This is exactly what I was looking for. I'm just going to add some parsley to it just to kind of brighten it up. There's a lot of muted and rich flavors in this right now, so the parsley will kind of help wake it up. And that's it. We're going to plate it up and get to taste it. This is a really rustic dish, but I'm really pleased with how elegant it looks at the same time. I mean, it is very basic, it's very simple, but to see it on the plate like this just looks incredible. I've got my crusty bread here. I'll give the sauce a taste first. Wow, that sauce, it's so creamy and so rich. The brininess of the olives, this is why it's key to put them in early, because it really spreads through the sauce. You have that umami kind of flavor from the rabbit cooking down, and then the brininess from the olives really brings it all together. Now we'll check out the meat. It's been cooking for an hour. It should be really tender, just ready to fall apart. So let's give this a try. Yeah, it's just coming right off of the bone there. Get some of the pine nut on there too. Olive. This is just how I love to eat. These are the recipes that really get me excited because it's based in that poverty cuisine, that peasant food that's just so good. I really hope you give this a try. A lot of people end up in Cinque Terre for their vacation. If you do find yourself in that area, look for coniglio alle ligure. I'm going to get back into this, and I'll see you in the next video.